Hello and welcome back. I'm Anna Prosser-Robinson, and in case you've missed it so far, where have you been? It's the Stream of Annihilation, and I'm here with some faces you very well may recognize. Liam, Matt, Taliesin, that's the right pronunciation, right?
Oh yeah, no, you're on.
Good. Taliesin and Marisha. Guys, welcome. Thank you for coming. Tell us a little bit about how you felt about the stream so far.
This stream right
Yeah,
here?
the Stream of Annihilation. How's it been?
God, don't start with me. I just rolled in.
It's been awesome. No, it's been a lot of fun. The D&D crew has brought together a lot of really great personalities in online D&D streaming. A lot of great designers and people that are just involved in the community so heavily. So it's been, for a lot of us, it's been our first chance to actually meet each other and hang out in a space and like swap stories and get excited to game together in a way that some of us who are either always in the DM chair or always in the player chair can swap it up a little bit. So, and just the content announcements. I'm personally super excited about this story narrative that they're putting out. So I'm over the moon.
Well, Critical Role, of course, is one of the biggest names in the D&D streaming space. I think that's fair to say. And it's been quite some time that you guys have been playing together. How long is it now?
About 5 years?
Yeah, for this particular campaign, we're pushing on 5 years, yeah.
And how does that feel? Does it feel like it's been that long?
It does, but it's reached critical mass the last two just because it's every week. It's 5 hours a week. We did it more sporadically and with mimosas and quiche in the past. So
Mimosas and quiche specifically?
often. Yeah.
Some lox and bagels. Yeah,
Cheese plate.
cheese plate.
I like, that's kind of a brunch vibe. I really
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like
We
Sunday.
Yeah, we used to
Yeah.
start at like 10 a.m. on a Sunday
Wear
and then
pajamas.
wear pajamas
Oh, yeah.
and then go till like 8, 9, sometimes 10 o'clock at night, play for like a full 12-hour marathon.
Yeah.
So
Now we're
we
down to
Take
a
a lunch break.
lean 5 hours a day.
a week. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that transition, because I'm fascinated by the difference between let's play at home in our jammies and eat some food to let's play on stream and entertain people and have a community of people that care about our characters. You guys have a lot of firsthand experience with that. Tell me a little bit about the difference and are there similarities too?
That's deep.
I mean,
A lot of silence.
it hasn't, as far as us and our gaming together, it hasn't changed that much. Naturally having the cameras there and the lights, we had to get some adjustment to, but as actors, we're used to being shameless in front of cameras, so I guess that's normal. But I guess to us, what's really been so fascinating out of it is the creation of the community, the people that have gotten invested in this story that for so long was just us in a private space, and we were so afraid that putting it on the internet, it was going to just be lambasted and speared by.
Really?
Because whenever something, when you put something passionate on the internet, there's a good chance it'll just end up on fire.
Right.
So we were really excited to see that people actually resonated with it, and not just were invested in our own story, but then created their own and sent us pictures of their own game groups, who were met because of the show, and it's cool.
Also, this was for 2 years on our own. Were these characters that we really loved and cared about, and they felt real. We talk about how they feel like false memories that we have, but now there are thousands of people who also have those false memories. So it's not our
False
own
memories
tiny.
or very real memories.
Yeah, I mean, there's no difference. Is
There
there?
is none. No.
Right.
It's really spectacacular. There's this like strange thing that happens where every now and then I'll be out in public somewhere. I've had this happen several times where I'll just be like sitting on like against a wall, and someone will come up and just go, Briarwoods, man. Yeah, I know, right? It's very, it's intimate. It's weirdly
And
intimate.
see, I just get, why goldfish?
But really,
That's all
why?
I get now.
I like that cocktail that popped up.
Me too.
Yeah, that-
Goldfish on the rocks.
Yeah,
I love it.
That made me laugh.
I also feel like the show has kind of put an overlay over some of us in real life. Like I'm a bumbling college professor in real life, but on the show now everyone tells me that I'm emo and goth and just so dark, and I'm chasing my kids and picking my nose when nobody's watching. So I don't feel too emo, but
We're watching.
Do you feel like your characters have had any impact on you? Because obviously we have an impact on our characters and who our characters become, but having played so long, have you started to take on any traits of your character in return?
A little. I like to say a lot that I genuinely think that Keyleth made me a more empathetic person.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean she's way nicer than I am. She's way better than I am. Yeah, it's true.
It's very true.
And she'll give anyone the benefit of the doubt, and she'll trust people inherently no matter what. And I'm not like that. So I do think kind of inhabiting her for that amount of time for so
Right.
long and that much. Because even when we're only playing for like 4 or 5 hours out of the week that everyone sees, the rest of the time is very much consumed with us thinking
Right,
about
totally.
the game and what happened and where we want to take them and how we want to react to the world around us. So yeah, I think kind of having her in my head for 5 years she's kind of made me a little bit more compassionate and maybe a little bit nicer, just
Yeah?
a little. Yeah.
What about you, Taliesin, at all?
I use Percy as therapy.
Really?
I will walk in some days and be like, I've had a bad day. I may just something terrible may happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, there's been a few times where you're like, I'm angry.
yeah,
I don't trust Percy today.
it's gonna make bad calls.
Anything from either of you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think my guy feels really fiercely for the people in his life, and I mean, not that I don't, but I don't know. I feel like that sort of colored my own life too. And then for the 8 of us, like these people are some of the most important people in my life, and I feel like the game is, I don't know, reached tendrils out into me. I don't know. I like
So-
these guys.
It's helped me channel my schizophrenia
Really?
as a dungeon master. A lot of characters in the head. No, it's. I mean, anyone who's played a role-playing game with a group of friends for a period of time can definitely. We are. Oh God,
Oh my
Okay.
goblin!
guys.
I'm not sure if the set is safe. We're gonna get security.
Taliesin, those are at most CR2. You can take them. Go.
How often does that happen?
We are in the Tomb of Annihilation
It is
now.
true.
And I'm going to just use that as a segue. What are you guys excited about for Tomb of Annihilation, whether it's goblin visits or otherwise?
I hope we all die glorious, beautiful deaths.
Glorious death.
Glorious
Glorious death.
You hope to die?
Yeah, I want to be spit out of a spike trap like a Play-Doh Fun Factory.
Yeah, we all die. I just hope to die well.
Yeah.
That's the
With great comedy.
Yeah. Now, the key for any great D&D one-shot where you understand the challenge of the adventure is the ever-present threat of complete destruction that you want, that disastrous,
Right.
messy, memorable defeat and death. And I think this setting is definitely a good place to present that opportunity for a lot of gaming groups out there.
You guys, can you tell us a little bit about what you're planning to play? Any hints before we see it?
Sure. I don't see why not.
You go ahead.
I'm going to be playing a human valor bard
Okay.
named Reggie.
Reggie.
And but I'm Reginald when he's grifting people.
Oh.
A little bit more dapper, a little bit more debonair.
He sounds
And I'm gonna die terrible.
he sounds quite charming.
Yes, yeah. Well, Reginald is. I don't know about Reggie.
I've actually. Oh, I've got a. I don't know if they can hear me. I'm going to be doing a pirate character in a little while, which
Oh,
is going to
yeah?
be very interesting. So yes, I've been figuring that out. It's going to be fun as a pirate captain.
I already love
Lots of
these.
teeth. It's going to be good. Yeah.
I'm going to be playing Teresa Brainswallow. She's a dwarven cleric of the storm and the tempest. But she wants to make sure that all of her mates and her traveling companions stay on the path of the upper narrow. Which means she's going to die horribly.
Cheers.
Liam?
I'm going to be representing halflings, and I'm going to be playing a guy named Oldwin, who is a druid monk.
Hey, Druid!
So I'm going to snag people in with a vine and then beat the bleep out of them.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
that's the idea anyway.
There's going to be
Yeah, that's.
And you're going to die horribly.
And I want to die horribly.
Okay, well, good. We know what to root for. We know to root for your horrible, horrible death. So this is good. You know, there's going to be a lot of Critical Role fans tuning in. So what are they going to see in this one shot that's going to remind them of what they know and love? And what's going to be something that's like completely fresh, completely new, something you guys don't normally show off? If there is anything.
I mean, I can see there's going to be a familiar taste of us all committing far too much to a character to the point of being possibly obnoxious. That's my goal, at least.
Right.
No, I feel that, and the sort of the Roman gladiatorial death and dismemberment as we just take each other apart and scream, "Are you not entertained?"
I'm
with
so glad I chose a lot.
with iffy accents attached to all of it. I'm really excited.
And we promise to make terrible, terrible decisions.
Oh yeah.
The worst decisions.
That's kind of our calling card. Vox Machina. We make terrible decisions.
Well, I have a question here, which is just, is there a book coming out soon? Do you guys have a book to tell us about?
Yeah, in mid to late August, I have a campaign setting guide coming out.
Wow.
That's going to be debuting at Gen Con, and shortly thereafter worldwide on the web or at Green Onin's website. Green Onin is the publisher for it. But I've been working in the past year with Joy Haig to write a campaign setting on Tal'Dorei, the continent where most of our game Critical Role takes place in, so other people can get the book and learn about the lore, the history, and run their own campaigns in the same place where Vox Machina has traveled.
Wow. And is that specifically like a 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons setting?
It's designed for 5th edition.
Okay.
You could tailor it to other settings, but this book is written to specifically work in 5th edition D&D.
Wow, very cool. Can you tell us a little bit about what might be there, or any sneak peeks
Sure,
or anything?
I'll say, I mean, it definitely breaks down all the locations and descriptors and elements of many of the places across the continent of Tal'Dorei. It also has plot hooks designated for each location, so a player could read about a cool location they want to start a game in and then have an idea of a jumping point for some sort of a storyline element.
Cool.
There's a whole chapter that talks about the pantheon of the world and the history of Exandria, the entire planet. There's a section that talks about possible character choices for, like, I made 4 new character archetypes for different classes that exist, some new feats, some new backgrounds, a bunch of fun stuff. So
That
You
must have
play
been.
as the Chroma Conclave?
I mean, if you so choose, you're welcome to do so, but that's not in the book, because the book technically takes place 1 year after that arc completed.
So they can't hunt and kill us?
I mean, that's entirely up to them. So if you want to make a campaign where you guys go ahead and hunt down Vox Machina as a Chroma Conclave, please do it, and tell me how much fun you had doing it. Yeah. That's all I
There's
ask.
an alternate reality where
Yeah, hey,
Vox
it's
Machina goes rogue and we are the
Matt.
bad guys.
For
and
Matt.
take us
I'm
down.
a fan of this,
Yeah.
actually. That sounds. They could turn us all evil and just kill us off one by one or all at once. And
If we're not already the bad guys.
If we're not already-
It's hard
we
to say.
kind of are.
We kind of are.
yeah.
Have you guys seen the book, or is there anything else that you hope is in it?
I've seen some pages of it. I haven't really seen the whole book yet.
Squad.
Yeah. So I want you to wait until you see all the art in it and
Yeah?
the presentation. Yeah.
What's the art like?
We're just starting to get it in now. I've reached out to a lot of our fan community. We have a wonderful
Really?
community of talented artists, musicians, writers, a bunch of people that have just done their own inspired pieces. And so, with so much great fan art, as soon as we had the opportunity to begin to commission art for the book, we wanted to make sure that we got many of the talented folk from the community to bring contributions to it. That way, it's as much a community-created book as it is just one that I've put
Totally.
together. So.
That actually is something I wanted to ask you guys about, because you mentioned kind of the viewers that become part of your family that's so intimate. And I think that's a really interesting word. And so many people do create fan art or have stories about how, you know, the adventure that you guys are having with them as a viewer affects their life. So do you guys have any special moments or really cool fan art or things that people have made that you love telling people about, or that you really treasure? Because I love hearing those stories.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
We had one fan who sent to me and Marisha as a gift for us getting engaged, a handmade large wooden chest
Wow.
that then had photos and a whole breakdown of the 4-page story of the tree that they cut down,
No
and
way.
every stage of its construction, the history of his family and carpentry, and how long he was working on this, and how it clarified his design and the purpose for him giving it to us. And it's one of the most incredible pieces of furniture that we'll own for the rest of our life. And so
Wow.
that deeply affected both of us when we got that.
I bet.
There are so many things that it's hard to really.
I mean,
The-
we've got time. In fact, they're
No, I-
they're still setting up. So
The last thing I remember seeing before I left my house this morning was this beautiful oil lamp that I was given for my birthday by a fan. That's
An
just
oil
this
lamp?
beautiful silver etched with my name and the person. It's just
right.
it's beautiful and
Yeah.
spectacular
Wow.
and
Yeah.
vaguely nautical, which is also why I'm thinking about it right now. But
There's I'd say 9 out of 10 times when we get gifts or presents or open a few things from the community, it ends in tears.
Really?
Of all of us just being like, why are you guys so great? Just pure emotional, overwhelming joy and gratefulness. And,
sometimes they send Travis the deck of many things, and that
Yeah.
becomes a problem.
Right, yes. Sometimes they're a bad influence.
I'd
That
say
is
also
true.
the sheer amount of charity
Yes.
that the community has raised between most of our individual charities and various stream charity-thons we've done. We've raised probably well over a few $100,000 to almost half $500,000 for
That's
various
amazing.
Well,
charities over the past 2
we
years.
know we're at like close to 200,000, like 150-ish with 826LA alone.
So
from
it's
the
been
community.
incredible, this outpouring of charity that the community has done just in
Yeah.
the name of storytelling, both ours and their own at their own home game tables.
Yeah,
so cool.
I think wasn't there the one fan who donated $1,000 to each of our individual charities and
Wow.
826LA? Like it's insane.
And we've gotten hundreds of letters at this point, email and physical letters of people saying, maybe are having a harder rough patch in their life, and our show is anywhere from just like a distraction from that to spending time with a group. I mean, we obviously all love each other very much and get a kick out of each other's company, and that bleeds to the screen, and people tell us that like they feel like they're sitting in on that, which is just sweet as hell.
Absolutely.
And also, like, I feel like we're in a fantasy setting where there's a giant eyeball floating with a horn stapled to its head, but we're also sort of creating a world that we would want, and we get a lot of letters like that too, saying like this is where I feel safe here, I feel happy here, I feel welcome here. I don't know. I mean, it's just, and it's every week. There's like 5 or 6 letters where I just stop and soak it in. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
That is so very cool. Do you guys feel like as actors, D&D enables you to do certain things that you don't get to do as actors otherwise, or it keeps you from doing certain things that you get to do as actors sometimes? What is that like?
I was going to say, because voiceover kind of does that, and then somehow D&D found another layer of that even voiceover wasn't.
Yeah, voiceover lets us play things that we would never play on camera, but then also this game and D&D in general lets us say, I've never got to do this kind of character or do this. Well, I'll do it myself. I'll write it myself in the moment on the fly every week.
And
For
a
2
lot
years.
of the stuff that we do it's other people's work. We're reading what other writers have
Right.
worked with, and that's part of our creative process. But this one feels a little bit more personal since we've all created these characters and this world. So you get that outlet as well as the storytellers.
I would say since I found D&D in like my middle of my young adult years, 14 years old, it was role-playing games and D&D that got me into acting. Like
Really?
that was kind of what really pulled me out of my shell, that got me comfortable improvising amongst a group of friends in a safe space and trying out different characters and voices and stepping into the shoes of these personas that were outside of myself. And that was kind of my soft introduction to being a thespian. So
Yeah.
I owe pretty much my entire life to D&D. And so that's part of the reason I'm so damn passionate about it. I
Right.
guess.
Well, and I think we kind of get to experiment with the human condition, or like situations that we would not talk about in ways other than what we're doing in D&D.
Very much so.
Have there been situations that you guys have dealt with in a way that was like more comedic, even though it had a serious undertone, or you were able to deal with something very emotional that maybe you weren't comfortable talking about yourself? Tell me a little bit about that.
Every game, it seems like these days.
That's a big.
I know, see, we have tons of time because they're
That's
still sitting out
huge.
and they're letting me just keep talking to you, so I'm
Yeah.
just going to keep giving you the feels.
There's a lot of studies that you can look up too, where people are beginning to really discover and publish the therapeutic elements of role-playing games for that reason, because it allows you to step into the shoes of personalities and people that are outside of yourself. It helps build empathy, it helps build problem-solving skills, teamwork skills, but also helps people deal with emotions that they have a hard time interfacing with on a personal level. So they can project that onto a character that's outside themselves and work through them that way. And I know, many of us, whether it be a bad day or just a rough patch in our general life, coming back to that table as these characters allows us a space to be away from that, and sometimes even a space to project and process those emotions in a way that isn't lashing out or destructive
Right.
to the people that we care about and are close to us. And it's helped me in a lot of times, and I know it's helped a lot of us in a similar way too.
Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen the Dungeons and Dragons episode of the IT Crowd, 3rd season,
Oh my God.
So good.
The Fredo, I think is the name of the episode. Fredo?
Jen the Fredo.
Jen the Fredo. Thank you. Yeah, you should totally watch it because it basically revolves around this concept of
Yeah.
using D&D to process and deal with your emotions. And it's like that and the episode of Community,
Yes.
I think are some of the best on television
Amazing.
displays of Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah.
I mean, I'll make this brief. I had a rough year and everything that happened in game all last year eerily mirrored what was going on in my rough year.
Really?
So the game became a stomping ground for me to sort of tear apart what was tearing me apart.
And it helped.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I feel like I find myself wanting to talk about my D&D character to people, even if they don't know D&D, and I feel like I can talk about my character and the things they experience for a really long time. And I feel like I'm experiencing that here at the Stream of Annihilation, where we all want to talk about our D&D characters and hear about each other's D&D characters. And an interesting byproduct, I guess, of streaming online and having other people watch your characters is they start to kind of care as much as you do about your character and almost take on an ownership of your character.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure you guys have experienced the I'll get a message that's like, look, Evelyn would never have done that. She would have done this, and you're playing her wrong. And there's the initial who are you to tell me what Evelyn would do? But on the other hand, I find that very flattering that they feel like they know her as well as I do, and that maybe So have you guys had experiences like that, or specific instances where you had the fans disagreed with you?
Oh, yeah.
So many times.
Yeah.
So many times. Man, I'm thinking of too many to process. Yeah, but like you said, it's always flattering. And yeah, we've gotten I just don't agree. I don't think Keyleth would have done that. And you're like, I mean, I invented her, so.
I mean, if Vax wanted to store Twinkies in his butt, that's in character if I decide to do
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
basically, it's all
Spoilers.
in, guys. Spoilers.
Is that
That's
a
the next
spoiler?
campaign.
Twinkies
Next
never
campaign.
spoil, though. That's part of the appeal.
Yeah.
Twinkies don't spoil.
Path of the Twinkie.
Are there any specific things with your characters that are those friction points very often?
A lot of the fans really want Percy to be nicer than he. I mean, he's a nice guy, but anytime I make a bad decision, they're like, "Why would you do that? Have you not been paying attention?"
He's a broken
He makes bad decisions that are destructive and not healthy.
I feel like I've been listening to you in interviews for 2 years, saying he's terrible. He's terrible.
He's better now than he's been in ages.
True, but
But
for
he-
2 years, and the internet is like, no, cinnamon roll, cinnamon roll.
That is not a cinnamon roll.
You are wrong, Taliesin.
That is spicy naan bread. Be careful. You're gonna be disappointed if you bite into that and it's put some
But once again, it was because they were saying it in defense of Percy. They were
Yeah.
like, no, don't say that. He's a
Percy
nice
from
guy.
He was already in my head for a year and a half before we started the game.
it's
I know him really well.
It's like the type of excuses that people make for a really old ornery dog. No, he's sweet. He might bite you.
Just don't approach him front on. That's all.
He's the guy in high school that you let come to the parties because he had a car big enough for everybody to sit in, but everyone knew that and that was it for a while.
Yeah, you're the one with
No.
a license to buy alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why-
Yeah. Thinks it makes him smart.
Man, I was gonna say something and I forgot.
I know.
It's okay,
No,
we'll edit
it
out.
doesn't matter.
It was some
I've already geeked out with you guys long enough. Thank you for hanging out with me while they were finished setting up. In fact, they are ready to go, but we are going to see you guys later. You're going to be in a game DM'd by Mike Merles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Awesome.
So stoked about that.
We are very excited to watch that. But now we get to throw to our next game. This is going to be Satine Phoenix as the DM with Maze Arcana. Let's check it out now. See you soon.
Hey.